Singer Bob Marley, his reggae music known far beyond its roots in Jamaica, died in a Miami hospital today after a long battle against cancer.
In the world of music, few figures stand as large as Bob Marley. His tunes became anthems for movements of freedom. However, beneath his captivating rhythm and lyrics lies a story hidden in mystery, a battle with cancer covered in secrecy. As Marley's devoted fans were saddened about his too early departure, there are many questions left unanswered. Why was his ailing health kept a secret? Now, as the echoes of his songs fade, what truths will come out, and what legacy will they leave? Join us as we uncover what they never told you about the death of Bob Marley. Rastafari rhythms to global acclaim. Bob Marley's songs were a strong call that touched the hearts of the oppressed and the hopeful alike. His work came from struggles and quickly became the song of those disappointed and downtrodden, not only in Jamaica, but around the world. Marley's songs were full of a spirit of change, speaking to the desire for freedom and respect. This was music that dared to dream, challenge, and inspire. Marley's talent grew during a time of big social and political change. The 1970s were full of conflict, and Marley's music was the soundtrack for this time. His lyrics, deep and clear, talked about unfairness, poverty, and the wish for freedom. It was a voice that many people connected with, seeing him not only as a musician, but also as a prophet of change. The power of Marley's music wasn't just in its deep lyrics, but also in its new style. Reggae, with its unique rhythms and bass-driven sound, was the perfect way to share his message. It was music that you could feel physically, moving your body and touching your heart. Each song was like a story woven with threads of resistance and hope, set against Marley's Rastafarian beliefs and his strong commitment to social change. Bob Marley's music journey was marked by some very important albums that would make sure he's remembered. Natty Dread, Rastaman Vibration, and Survival were more than just sets of songs. They were statements about politics, calls to action, and affirmations of African identity. Songs like War, which had a speech from Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, and Africa Unite, showed his vision of everyone coming together and being unified. Marley's work got praise from all over the world, with people from all walks of life enjoying it. His live shows were amazing experiences that went beyond just entertainment. For many, going to a Bob Marley concert was like waking up spiritually, feeling connected to something bigger than themselves. His music was a safe place for those who felt pushed aside by what everyone else was saying. Marley's impact went beyond just music. He became a cultural icon who influenced fashion, language, and identity. His unique style, with his dreadlocks and Rastafarian colors, became a symbol of a movement against the mainstream. His songs, rich with lyrics, introduced Jamaican Creole to the world, making more people aware of his island's culture. Bob Marley's music was like a river fed by many streams, but none as important as the Rastafarian movement, which gave his work spiritual and cultural strength. Rastafari, born from black resistance movements in Jamaica, wasn't just a religion to Marley, it was a way of seeing the world, guiding his life and art. Through Rastafari, Marley found a way to share his message, talking about the problems in society and the big questions of life. Marley's becoming a Rastafarian in the late 1960s was a big change in his life. The movement, starting with Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia's crowning and Marcus Garvey's messages, gave Marley a lot of stories and symbols to use in his music. These things became really important in his songs, giving them more meaning. The lion, the colors red, gold, and green, and the herb cannabis weren't just things he talked about in his songs. They were signs of his beliefs and his culture. The ideas of Rastafarianism, like wanting all Africans to come together and go back to Africa, really connected with Marley. His music became a way to share these ideas, making people feel connected to their African roots. Songs like Exodus and Africa Unite were calls to wake up, telling people of African descent to remember where they came from and to stand together. Rastafarianism also gave Marley a way to talk about problems with the Western world, like how people cared too much about money and not enough about each other. The faith's ideas of living without being changed by the materialism of the Western world were clear in Marley's songs. He didn't like how people only cared about getting more stuff and being better than others. This showed up in songs like Babylon System and Rat Race, where Marley talked about how bad the greed and competition of modern life were. To have such strong beliefs and principles, his life and career should have soared. But what came at the height of his fame was unthinkable. What happened to bring down one of music's brightest stars? Where did things start to unravel? Let's look into it. Triumph and tragedy. Bob Marley's journey through his career was nothing short of extraordinary, a tale of great talent and worldwide influence that left a big mark on the world of music. As the latter part of the 1970s unfolded, Marley rose to the very top of his musical journey, his voice echoing as a clear call for change and a guiding light of hope for millions. The release of his famous album Exodus in 1977 stands as a very important moment, with songs like One Love and Jamming capturing the very spirit of the time. Yet Marley's music was more than just a reflection of the times, it showed the way towards a better future. The successes of Marley's career were many and deep. His band, Bob Marley and the Wailers, became well known for reggae music, bringing the genre from the edges to big success all around the world. His concerts were not just shows for fun, but times of unity, bringing together people fighting against unfairness. The famous One Love Peace concert in 1978, where Marley brought together opposing political leaders on stage, shows how much influence he had and his strong commitment to peace. Marley's achievements were known all around the world, earning him awards like the United Nations Peace Medal of the Third World in 1978, which showed his hard work to bring peace and fairness through music. His albums kept getting praise and selling well, with Survival in 1979 and Uprising in 1980 seen as great works that not only talked about important things, but also showed his great talent. However, among all the successes of his career, Marley faced a piece of devastating news in 1977. He found out he had a type of skin cancer called acral lentiginous melanoma, just when he was doing so well in his music. Even though he was very sick, he kept going, doing shows and making music with a strong dedication to his work, showing how tough he was in hard times. The melody and the malady. As Bob Marley's fame reached new heights on the world stage, a stark difference emerged as a life-threatening sickness quietly came into his life. The year 1977 brought a cruel twist of fate as Marley, known for his energy and life through his music, got a tough diagnosis of skin cancer. It all started innocently enough with a small problem under the nail of his toe, leading to one of the most important times of his life. Marley's sickness was both rare and not well understood, especially considering his African background, where such problems were rarely talked about. The diagnosis came when he was becoming more and more influential, and his music was speaking for freedom all around the world. It wasn't just a small injury from a lively soccer game, as some stories say, but a discovery of a deeper health problem. Below the skin of his right big toe was a malignant melanoma. Marley's path to finding out about his sickness was filled with doubt. It took visits to not just one, but two doctors before the truth came out through a biopsy, a test to confirm the type of cancer called acral lentiginous melanoma. This type of cancer, unlike the more well-known ones, doesn't show up on skin exposed to the sun, but instead in hidden parts of the body, like the soles of feet or under toenails. Making things more complicated was the fact that this type of cancer wasn't well understood, especially during that time. It stayed hidden, often not noticed by mainstream medical talk. Even though it was the most common type of melanoma in people with darker skin, it remained unknown in the medical books of the time, a silent enemy hiding in the shadows. Doctors said he should cut off his toe to stop the cancer, but for Marley, This was a big problem because of his beliefs. Seeing the body is very important. Cutting off his toe went against what Marley believed, making a big problem for him. His faith, once something that made him strong, now makes things very hard for him. Marley's choice to not use regular treatment but to try other things that fit with his beliefs surprised and worried his friends, family, and fans. It showed how hard it was for him to balance being famous with what he believed in. Even with his sickness, Marley kept on doing shows and making music, putting even more feeling into each song. Every song showed how strong he was, giving hope when things were hard. Even though he got sicker, Marley never stopped working hard and caring about his fans. Spring of May 1980, the world was blessed with the release of the huge album, Uprising. The band went on an exciting journey across Europe, ending with a big show to 100,000 people at the famous San Siro Stadium in Milan, Italy. The joy of their success echoed as they traveled across continents. After the successful European tour, Bob Marley, the charismatic leader of the band, aimed to impress audiences in the United States. His powerful presence lit up the famous Madison Square Garden in the heart of New York City, captivating the audience as part of the Uprising tour. But amidst all the excitement, tragedy struck suddenly. While jogging in Central Park, Marley suddenly fell, his body failing him. He was quickly taken to the hospital where the sad truth was revealed. Cancer had spread to his brain, lungs, and liver. Not giving up hope, Marley summoned his last bit of strength for what would be his final show. On a memorable evening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the sweet sounds of his music filled the air of the Stanley Theater, now a special place where his memory lives. It was a sad goodbye, captured forever in Kevin MacDonald's moving documentary, Marley. As Marley's health got worse quickly, his body fought bravely but couldn't hold back the disease. The rest of the tour was canceled, and Marley sought comfort and different treatment at Josef Eisel's well-known clinic in peaceful Rottach-Egern, Bavaria, Germany. There, surrounded by quiet forests and calm lakes, he tried the Eisel's treatment, hoping for a miracle. Marley's choices about his health made many people talk even after he died. His decision to not use regular medicine came from his belief in keeping the body safe, going against what many people thought was right. Trying other treatments like a special diet made people talk about whether it was the right thing to do. Marley's fight against the regular way of doing things showed how much he wanted to stay true to what he believed in, even when he was very sick. In the end, Marley's fight against sickness showed more than just a personal problem. It was about his faith, his beliefs, and how much he cared about his music. It showed how powerful beliefs can be, even when things are very hard. The final curtain. Marley's last days. Bob Marley's bright journey, woven with strands of musical talent and deep spirituality, approached its end not with a whisper but with a deeply moving crescendo. His final days, though clouded by sickness, were lit by the same energy and passion that defined his life. The last performance of his career was a heartfelt goodbye, though neither the world nor perhaps Marley himself knew it would be his final time on stage. On September 23, 1980, Marley performed at the Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Those lucky enough to be there witnessed a show filled with Marley's famous enthusiasm. It was a strong display of his best songs, each one now carrying extra meaning because of his health struggles. The concert captured the essence of his career, a mix of passionate energy, powerful words, and songs that brought people together. Tracks like No Woman, No Cry and Redemption Song were sung with deep feeling, as if Marley was sharing his soul with each listener. After the Pittsburgh show, Marley's health got worse. The cancer that started on his toe had spread to other parts of his body. Even though he looked weaker, Marley's determination stayed strong. His will to keep going was just as much a part of him as the music he made. He had plans to go on tour for his album Uprising, but his health didn't allow it. Marley went back to Jamaica for comfort and also tried a different treatment in Germany. Instead of using strong medicine, he chose natural methods. But even with these efforts, the cancer didn't stop. The treatments in Germany were tiring. and Marley knew they were his last hope against the illness that would eventually take his life. Upon arriving in Miami, Florida, Bob Marley was quickly taken to Cedars of Lebanon Hospital, which was later known as University of Miami Hospital, for urgent medical care. There, on the 11th of May, 1981, at the young age of 36, he lost his life to the aggressive spread of melanoma, which had invaded his lungs and brain. His departure from this world marked not just the end of a life, but also the silencing of a voice that had deeply connected with millions. In his final moments, Marley shared words of wisdom with his son Ziggy, a heartfelt request that resonated with both longing and legacy. On your way up, take me up. On your way down, don't let me down. Jamaica, Marley's homeland and the source of his spirit and music, bid farewell to him with a state funeral on May 21st of May, 1981. The funeral combined elements of Ethiopian Orthodoxy and Rastafari tradition in a tribute to his lasting impact. Marley was laid to rest in a chapel near his birthplace in 9 Mile, with his treasured red Gibson Les Paul guitar, an open Bible, and a single stem of ganja placed by his wife, Rita Marley. On that solemn day, Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Siega delivered a eulogy that went beyond mere words, portraying Marley not as just a man, but as a force intertwined with life itself. His voice was everywhere in our electronic world, Siega said, recognizing Marley's enduring influence. Bob Marley was never seen. He was an experience that left a lasting mark with every encounter. He is part of the shared awareness of the nation. The posthumous influence of Marley's music. The departure of Bob Marley from the world stage didn't mark the end of his influence. If anything, his passing amplified the impact of his music, sending waves of his revolutionary spirit across the globe. In the years following his death, Marley's legacy has only grown deeper, with his music continuing to inspire new generations to uphold the ideals he stood for: peace, love, and equality. Marley's voice, kept in records and digital recordings, remains as powerful and relevant as ever. His album Legend, released after he died in 1984, became the best-selling reggae album of all time, showing the lasting appeal of his work. Songs like Buffalo Soldier and Could You Be Loved became anthems for the oppressed, providing a soundtrack for the struggle against unfairness worldwide. But Marley's impact went beyond just music. He became an icon of cultural identity. His image, with his dreadlocks, Rastafarian colors, and unique voice, became symbols of a movement that aimed to challenge the status quo and uplift the downtrodden. The universal themes of his music broke down barriers, bringing together people of all races, nationalities, and beliefs in a shared human experience. The influence of Marley's music after his death has reached various parts of society. Politicians, activists, and artists have all said he inspired them. His words are quoted in speeches, his songs are covered by many musicians, and his life story taught in schools. His message of unity and standing up against unfairness continues to connect with people, echoing through the halls of power and the streets of cities worldwide. Jamaica takes pride in their own. In Jamaica, Bob Marley's legacy is a source of national pride, symbolizing the island nation's big impact on the global cultural scene. His birthday on February 6th is celebrated as Bob Marley Day, not only in Jamaica but by fans worldwide. His former home in Kingston, now the Bob Marley Museum, has become a special place for those wanting to connect with the spirit of the man whose music moved the world. The echoes of Marley's music have spread far beyond just entertainment, influencing social activism and movements for fairness. His strong commitment to fairness and his belief in the Rastafarian faith continue to inspire those fighting for the rights of marginalized groups. In today's time of climate crisis, his calls for taking care of the environment are urgent, rallying supporters for a more fair world. But Marley's music is more than just relaxing vibes and reggae concerts. His songs are filled with messages of peace and love, reflecting his wish to be a sign of understanding and unity. In the late 1970s, he spent a lot of time trying to bring peace to Jamaica, organizing peace concerts to bring together the country's fighting political groups. His role as an international cultural ambassador for Jamaica and Rastafarianism further proved that he was a spiritual leader and music pioneer. Born as the mixed-race son of a white English overseer in colonial Jamaica, Marley had a unique view of the world around him. Growing up in Jamaica's fights over race and politics, he used his music to try to heal the wounds of his homeland. During the hard years between 1974 and 1980, Marley's efforts for peace peaked in the Big One Love Peace concert in Kingston in 1978. This event, where Marley brought rival political leaders on stage to show unity, became a big moment in Jamaica's history. Taking his message of getting along worldwide, Marley performed at Zimbabwe's independence ceremony in 1980 and toured a lot, becoming the first famous musician from a developing country to be known everywhere. His music became closely tied to movements for black political independence across Africa and South America, spreading love and understanding for those who were suffering. In addition to his activism, Marley acted as an informal ambassador for Jamaica, introducing the world not only to its music, but also to the ideas of Rastafarianism, ideas about personal and spiritual freedom, peace, love, and everyone getting along. Thanks to Marley, Jamaica's spiritual soul has spread beyond its borders, leaving a big mark on the world's mind. Legacy and legends. The children of Bob Marley flow like a strong river through the generations, shaping the landscape long after the initial source has stopped flowing. Marley's offspring, both biological and spiritual, carry the torch passed on by their legendary father, each contributing to the continuation of his musical heritage and the Rastafarian culture he supported. With 11 recognized children, Bob Marley's family tree is as diverse and far-reaching as his influence. Each child, in their own unique way, has woven threads of their father's beliefs into their efforts, whether through music, business, or activism. Ziggy Marley, the oldest son from his marriage to Rita Marley, has emerged as the leader of his father's musical legacy. As the leader of the Melody Makers, a group comprising several of his siblings, Ziggy has built a successful career, earning Grammy Awards and continuing the tradition of socially conscious music. Another of Bob's sons, Stephen Marley, has also made significant waves in the music industry, not only as a performer, but as a producer. By collaborating with artists across various styles of music, Stephen has further solidified the Marley name in the history of music. His albums, such as Mind Control, show a deep understanding and respect for the roots of reggae while adding elements that speak to a new generation. The Marley daughters are equally influential. Cedella Marley, a singer, author, and fashion designer, uses her platform to promote her father's music and message. She has also been important in charitable efforts, notably the One Love Foundation, which focuses on youth, planet, and peace causes deeply important to her father. Sharon Marley, not biologically Bob's own, but whom he adopted, continues to maintain the Marley legacy through her involvement with the Melody Makers and other family projects. Rohan Marley, another of Bob's sons, has ventured into business, co-founding the organic coffee company Marley Coffee, and supporting sustainable farming practices in Jamaica, thus honoring his father's respect for the land and the environment. Damian Marley, the youngest of the Marley sons, has perhaps the most unique voice, blending reggae roots with hip-hop and modern beats, showing the world that the Marley influence is as adaptable as it is lasting. The Rasta's Everlasting Sermon. Bob Marley's move from the physical world did little to lessen the impact of his presence worldwide. His legacy, much like the man himself in life, continues to grow, reaching into corners of society and aspects of culture that extend far beyond the roots of reggae or the bounds of Jamaica. Marley has become an immortal icon, a symbol of resistance and resilience whose spirit transcends the confines of mortality. Marley's music remains a universal language, speaking truths about love, freedom, and humanity that are as relevant today as they were when first spoken. His songs have become songs for the oppressed and anthems for those who dream of a better world. The lasting relevance of his work is evident not only in its continued popularity, but also in its use at moments of political importance and social movements across the globe. The Rastafarian philosophy that Marley supported, with its emphasis on peace, unity, and a return to natural living, continues to inspire those who seek a deeper connection with the world around them. His message of one love serves as a call to overcome division, to recognize the interconnectedness of all life, and to strive for a world in which love triumphs over hate. Marley's impact on music cannot be overstated. He took reggae from the margins of music to the mainstream, influencing artists and genres as diverse as rock, hip-hop, and world music. The rhythms and messages of his songs have been embraced and reinterpreted by musicians around the world, ensuring that his influence is woven into the fabric of contemporary music. Beyond music, Marley's influence is evident in the realms of fashion, language, and lifestyle. His unique style and dreadlocks have become iconic, adopted by those who see in Marley a figure of authenticity and nonconformity. His use of Jamaican dialect helped bring the language and culture of his homeland to an international audience. Marley's commitment to social justice has made him a figure of political importance as well. His music has been a source of motivation and solidarity for those fighting against injustice, and his life story is a testament to the power of music to create change. The Bob Marley Foundation continues this work, supporting initiatives that aim to empower communities and promote social change. Poetry in motion. Bob Marley's life story, unfolding over time, reveals the depths of his character. His early years tell a remarkable tale, showing how music can change lives. Born on February 6, 1945, in 9 Mile, a small Jamaican village, Robert Nesta Marley entered a world of clear differences. His mother, Sadella Booker, a young Afro-Jamaican woman of 18, was very different from his father, Captain Norval Marley, an older white Jamaican of English descent. Marley's mixed-race background made life complex, facing ridicule in Jamaica's strict society. Yet Marley embraced his identity with pride, refusing to let others bring him down. Growing up poor, his home lacked basic things like running water and electricity, showing the struggles of rural Jamaica. Despite this, Marley's strong spirit grew, supported by his mother's strength and care. At just 15, Marley started his music journey, forming the band The Wailers with friends Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, and Joe Higgs. Mixing rocksteady and reggae, their music impressed audiences beyond Jamaica, starting a new chapter for Marley. The 1960s brought changes as Marley's music reflected the times. In 1967, Marley embraced the Rastafarian faith, shaping his music and message. With the 1970s, working with producer Lee Perry brought new sounds, taking the band worldwide. Albums like Catch a Fire and Burnin' made history, featuring songs like Get Up, Stand Up and I Shot the Sheriff, later covered by Eric Clapton. Marley's journey kept going as he moved from ska to reggae, reaching fans around the world. Hits like No Woman, No Cry and albums like Rastaman Vibration made him a music legend. After his successful album in the United States, Rastaman Vibration, 1976, reached high on the Billboard Soul charts, a big moment for Bob Marley. But then, something scary happened. A few months later, someone tried to kill him at his home in Jamaica. This made him move to London. In London, Marley made another great album called Exodus, 1977. It had different kinds of music like blues, soul, and British rock. Exodus was loved by many people and made Marley even more famous. Bob Marley was a Jamaican singer, guitarist, and songwriter. He mixed different kinds of music like reggae, ska, and rocksteady. People loved his voice and his songs. Marley's music made Jamaican music famous all over the world, and made him famous too. Marley also cared about important issues. He talked about democracy and wanted cannabis to be legal. He also talked about Pan-Africanism, which is about people of African descent being united. In 1984, Marley's best songs were put together in an album called Legend. It became the most popular reggae album ever. Marley sold a lot of records all over the world and became one of the most famous musicians ever. Even after he died, Marley's music stayed popular. Jamaica gave him a special award, and he was put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rolling Stone magazine said he was one of the best singers and artists ever. He also got a special award from the Grammy Awards and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Thanks for watching. Check out another interesting video by clicking on the link appearing on your screen right now. See you on the other side.